Welcome back to the Buffalo Happy Hour podcast. Mike, what's going on?
Derek, we're at the Manzard Inn with our friends. So I'm excited for this just because this has been a staple in Orchard Park for decades. So let's start at the beginning. We'll do introductions first, and then we'll dive into the history just so that we can give some people some context of how special this place actually is. So want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Craig Mahalik.
I'm Becky Morgan.
I'm Mike Morgan.
Love it. So when did you guys first get involved in the restaurant industry? Because it's kind of a loaded topic to just be like, yeah, we run this place. So let's start at the beginning.
Well, Mike would be the first one that got involved in the restaurant industry.
I was a dishwasher when I was in high school. East Shore Country Club, scrubbing pots and pans all summer. That was a lot of fun. But I went to Bosie's in East Aurora and when I was in high school, and that's kind of when I figured out, that's what I wanted to do, was pursue that career. So went to Alfred State College for culinary, got a culinary arts degree. But I worked around at a bunch of different places, Orchard Park Country Club, worked at a place in Seneca Lake, stuff like that all throughout. But recently, the chef at David's Grill in Orchard Park and OP Social, we opened that up. But my wife and I, Becky, we opened up a place in Williamsville, Applewood Cafe, and we had that. It was more of a lunch catering, not just lunch catering, but lunch and a catering place. We did wedding receptions and whatnot. And then we found this place, so we've been here.
All right, that's wild.
Yeah.
I started out fresh out of high school. I was a waitress at the Orchard Park Country Club, and then eventually became the banquet manager there, and then the patio bartender. And before we opened up Applewood, that was really the only place that I had worked.
Did you guys golf at least?
Oh, yeah.
Every Monday.
Golf for free on Mondays, yeah.
That's actually where we met, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, she was a little server girl.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, they got all the experience. My experience in restaurants is just sitting there eating and drinking.
There you go.
Gotta have that, too.
So now how did you three meet? Obviously, we know about Orchard Park Country Club, but how did you three come together?
Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. We had part of it, my wife and I, when we moved into Orchard Park, we were trying to find the local establishment that we wanted to go to on Friday nights. Turned out to be OP Social, and the reason we would go there is we had loved the food. It really was about the food. And the more we were going there, we had a similar friend, Mike and I, that when I'd mentioned I was there, he's like, oh, I know the chef. His name's Mike Morgan. I'll introduce you. And we're big Bills fans, and he was a big Bills fan. He throws a great a great tailgate party for every game. And he's like, you should go to one of these times. And it was that was it. We went to a couple of tailgates together. Every time we'd go in every Friday night, my wife and I, we'd end up talking with them. And then we started to meet Becky as well. And it was probably 3+ years ago.
Nice.
Really. And here we are today.
Yep. Becky and I catered a couple of pig roasts at his house. He had a couple of summer parties. Well, family parties.
Yeah.
But those were always a good time. But, just, I don't know, he's always been, calling us anytime he had catering or whatnot or anything to do that involved food and drink. But other than that, we were talking about, Becky and I have always wanted to, we had a place, we had Applewood. But, we wanted we needed dining room space and bar, and stuff like that. So Craig said he was interested. He's into realty. So we were looking, and then he was like, oh, you know what? I heard the Mansard Inn was for sale. And then when we called Steve, right, Steve was like, no, it's not for sale.
No.
He's like, but anything's for sale.
Yeah. He's like,
okay.
if you really have interest, let's have a conversation and talk about it then. And, I had some history with Steve actually going back. My grandfather grew up with him. Grandpa was about 10 years older than him, but he knew him since he was, a year old. And this was kind of our establishment coming here. We'd have our big family dinners, Italians.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we do. You got third cousins that you're close with. And so we would come here quite regularly for big family meals, even on Christmas Eve. We do the 7 fishes, and so we'd order a lot of food from the Mansard for our Christmas Eve parties. So I've known Steve for a long time, and my family has, and that's it. And when I had called him, he's like, no, it's not for sale, but, we could have a conversation, and that was a fall 2 years ago. And by April, we had signed on the dotted line and bought it. So it was it's kind of interesting how how quickly some of the things actually did come together.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we had just started looking, as Mike alluded to, it was kind of that summer. He had brought up they had an interest in looking for some. I was into real estate. I said, hey, if we find something, let's talk if it works out right. And it actually happened quite quickly.
Yeah, really quickly.
Yeah, you got lucky.
In the scheme
Yeah.
of things.
So when you guys took this place on, was there ever any thought of changing the name, or would that cause an uproar in the community?
We did talk about changing the name, but this restaurant's been here for 46 years before we took over. So, and the name is well known. Everybody knows where the Mansard Inn is, and they know that it's on Abbott Road. A lot of people were confused whether it was still open or not, but
Yep. And we should clarify. We did change the name slightly.
Yeah.
You might not call it. We tried to drop the word "the inn,"
yeah.
so just call it the Mansard.
So it's the Mansard.
It's the Mansard because we would get a lot of folks who would say it, and a lot of people thought this was a hotel.
Yeah.
And every time I would talk to someone, oh, isn't that hotel up on the hill there? Or it's a private club or something. Nobody really knew what it was. So, we tweaked it a little bit to make it a little, we wanted to freshen it up a little bit,
Yeah.
change the logo, just kind of call it the Mansard, fine drink and eatery. Now you're really telling people exactly what it is, while still keeping all that heritage and, rich history, from 40 plus years.
And also, that's the style of the roof. Is called the Mansard.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So it wasn't like Steve's last name, which would have been fine either way. He built a great business, but it wasn't like we were keeping somebody else's name. I mean, we are his legacy and everything else, but it just fits. It's not like it was, his family name, but
So what was the process in dropping the inn? Like, did you have to basically just DBA the Mansard, or
Yeah, so when we bought it, we set up our own corporations and stuff like that. So when we came up with our DBA, it's just the Mansard now instead of the Mansard Inn.
Yep, and
So
then slowly
We didn't
changing some
we didn't
signage.
acquire his corporation or anything. So we
Gotcha.
we started everything from there from scratch.
okay?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you'll still see the Mansard Inn. I mean, it still pops up in
Yeah.
websites and other
There's
areas, and
still
people
have
still
servers that answer the phone and say, "Hey, thanks for calling the Mansard Inn." We're like, "Stop it."
So speaking of the past owners, how has the food and the style changed from the previous owner to what it is now? You were talking about it being a traditional Italian type of restaurant. So like how did it change?
He had a lot of staples, and he had told me that he hadn't changed the menu. He changed one item on the menu in 47 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like
So-
Italians.
Yeah.
I love this town.
So we didn't want to go crazy. If you look at it, it's a lot of the same items. We just, instead of you having a choice of baked potato, mashed potato, rice, French fries, chips, like we did away with all that, and they're more composed plates. So we still have strip steak, we still have filet and everything, but the way it is on the menu, that's the way we present it. And there was, like I said, we kept some of the staples we didn't touch because, to make a joke, I've worked in Orchard Park a long time, so I met a lot of people. And one lady, for instance, she texted me and she was like, "Oh, I heard you bought the Mansard Inn." I'm like, "We can't discuss that yet. I'm not sure that we're able to say that." But she's like, "Well, okay, so you did, but if you touch the turkey Jerome, there's a lot of people that are going to be out to kill you." And I'm like, "What is this turkey Jerome?" So we've heard so much about the turkey Jerome and other things that when we came and actually looked at it and tried it, I was like, "Okay, I see what it's unique to the Mansard Inn. I've never seen anything like it. Never had anything."
Do you want to
like
explain
it.
what it is, just for everybody that hasn't heard of it before?
Yeah. Well, basically, we cook whole turkeys and debone them, obviously, take out the meat and everything, chop it up, and then from the juice that we cooked it in, we thicken it and mix it back in the meat, and we form croquettes, and then bread them and flash fry them. So basically, you're getting this turkey gravy croquette that's flash fried, and we put gravy over the top of it. So, yes.
So what are we doing after this?
Yeah. So I'm not like I said before. I even knew what the menu was. And honestly, we didn't even finish the menu.
Before we came to look at the place, we had never actually been in the building ever. So
Yeah.
we didn't really know any of the menu items. We didn't even know the building at all. So for us, it was
We've
fresh new.
driven by it a million times, and I don't know. And everybody that we talk to and say where it is, they're like, "Oh yeah, I know the place. I've never been in there." So, but as far as like the menu and stuff, most of it's the same. It's just we serve it a little differently. But we tried to keep some things, you know. And plus, he was in business for 47 years. I don't want to come in and just, take everything away and then, do spaghetti and meatballs. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but there's still a lot of things that his customers have been very loyal to him and been coming in for years. And they'll come in and be like, "Oh, where's the fresh muffins?" I'm like, we just don't do the muffins.
Like, listen, we're new owners.
Yeah, I mean,
we have to change something.
They came in and they baked fresh bread and muffins, and they did a lot of things that I just we can't.
Yeah. So when you took it over too, did you have to change a lot of the interior aspects of it, or was it pretty much ready to go?
Well, we freshened it up a little bit. I mean, it was the Mansard Inn, the same exact interior for 47 years. So you can explain what we did.
There's a couple of little just small tweaks that we made. With the bar room, we had to really make it more of a drinking place. So the bar stools used to be attached to the floors, and there was carpeting in there. So it was really not really conducive for, a lot of people coming in and out of the bar. And then we replaced the ceiling in there, and it isn't such an old building, and then they had the old smoke eaters that were up in the ceilings from back in the days from when everybody was smoking. So we had to take those out and replace some ceilings and stuff. And then what else did we do in there?
It was more about just freshening up stuff.
Yeah.
Putting some more wood accents that would still flow with the overall look and feel of the building. We were trying to modernize it without
making it
looking too modern. You're trying to clean up a lot of it was even light fixtures and the different types of light bulbs, using the Edison bulbs. It fits right with this kind of building. Sure. But it does give it a little bit more of a new, fresher feel. But some of the changes we did make just weren't cosmetic. It was just, like pulling carpet off a bar room floor. Things you kind of need to do. Putting up a couple TVs. People, when, like I said, when I would come here as a kid, my grandpa, this was more, you would have your quick drink while you're waiting to sit down. And after dinner, you'd go home. And, for an establishment to survive another 40-some years, you have to have a bar that works as well.
Yeah.
And we're not the type of bar that's open till 4 a.m. and stuff, but you want people, maybe they'll sit there for, a drink, have dinner, and then have a couple cocktails after dinner before you go home. And so it was making it more of an inviting space, and that really was it. And even simple things, the old sound system for the whole building was on one sound system. So that dull music, you'd have in the background at dinner, you had to have playing in the bar too. Well, nobody wants to sit in a bar, listen to that dull music. You want to go to bed, you want to take a nap.
The elevator music.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly how it was. So simple things like changing it so you can play something different in the bar, maybe a little more upbeat. It is a separate room, so you're not hearing a crossover with noise. But we had heard, that was some of the cool compliments. There's folks that would come down, they said the last 30 years been coming here.
Yeah.
And to hear folks that kept coming down and they're like, we absolutely love your changes.
Yeah.
You're never going to make everyone happy, but to have people come up and say, we've been coming here for 30 years, and we love now sitting at the bar afterwards and having some drinks, and it's a more lively, and you're having conversation. Being a U-shaped bar, I absolutely love. Mm-hmm. No matter where you're sitting in there, you can talk to anybody, and you meet a ton of people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I found. A lot of people love that in there. You could be there by yourself, and 2 seconds later, you're talking to the whole bar.
Yeah.
And so it's become a nice, inviting space, and it's... there were little tweaks here or there, but they've certainly worked out.
Yeah. Well, that also, the style of dining has changed in the past how many years. A lot of people go out, like my wife and I, if we go out without the kids, obviously, which hasn't been in forever, but if we go out, we don't sit in a dining room and have dinner. We'll go and sit at the bar, and we'll have dinner at the bar. And that's, we do almost as much business at the bar as we do in the dining room. So that was something that we wanted to focus on, was somebody could go be comfortable at the bar and have, an entree or two.
So what, you guys mentioned smoking, so what year did they outlaw smoking indoors in New York? I forgot, because that was
2001, 2002.
Okay, so it was, that makes
no,
sense.
I guess 2004.
It was after that, yeah. Maybe
So early 2000s?
Yeah, I think it was early. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is so recent if you think about it.
Yeah.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember exactly, because working in this business, if you weren't working in a restaurant, you wouldn't remember where you were when, it was a big thing. I was on Seneca Lake, and there was most of our business was patio bar and covered decks and stuff outside.
Okay.
Obviously, you're on the lake.
It doesn't You can keep going.
Oh.
I'll just hear the kids going nuts.
Yeah.
What's going
Here's some
on?
kids bouncing around.
Yeah, so on Seneca Lake, I'll never forget it because so every table would have a canopy, and you couldn't smoke under the canopy, and people were going nuts.
Yeah.
You know, like, well,
I
we're
remember,
outside.
Like, it was a big revolt. Yeah.
Like, well, you're
Yeah.
under the canopy. Sorry.
That makes
and
sense.
it's really hard for people to accept change, especially something like that, because you've been smoking in restaurants forever, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you can't anymore.
Right.
As of this one date, done. You know.
Yeah, and there was still a lot of places that allowed it. They were just waiting until their turn until they got in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I forgot about that. So there's designated smoking points, essentially, that had to be established, correct?
Yeah.
There's,
For
I think actually before 2004 there was a smoking section and a non-smoking section for I don't know how many years.
Well, indoors, but like outdoors, it was
Right, right.
yeah, like you could still have a smoking section outside, but yeah, that didn't last long.
Gotcha. So then, what were the? I don't want to dive too much into like changes because essentially there weren't many. But what other things have you incorporated with the business that you can then bring in other people or do certain events for?
Talk about the
Yeah,
case.
So-
we have a big
Yeah.
catering business.
So we
but-
had Applewood, which was in Williamsville, and we had a little small cafe up front. But Applewood was basically, or it still is, we do all catering. So anywhere from weddings to private parties, birthday parties, graduations, and whatnot, we were always doing drop-off catering and full-service catering. And now that we're here at the Mansard, we have another kitchen downstairs to still do our catering out of. But we have a banquet room downstairs that fits 80 people, and then upstairs in our third floor, there is 2 private rooms. There's a boardroom and our round room, and one of them is 15, 20 people, and the other one is up to like 30 people we can get in there.
Oh wow. Okay.
And we recently just updated that boardroom where we got a big 75-inch TV and once again rewired everything so that like pharmaceutical reps or somebody could come in for a business meeting and hook up their laptop to it, and it would play their presentation on the big TV.
Very nice.
And then like it'll work too for like memorials and stuff like that. You can always have like pictures flowing through. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it just made sense for us to buy this place because everything was already here. Steve did all that stuff for years.
Okay.
You know, not saying as much as like the TV upstairs and stuff, but I mean, every table, chair, all the equipment in the kitchen, you know, he was already set up. He had a full service kitchen in the basement for, you know, banquets and stuff. So
That's huge. So the groundwork was already essentially laid. You just
Right.
had to follow the railroad tracks to
pretty
success.
much, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that your bar is not open until 4. So what would your hours, or what are your hours essentially?
A lot of it is. I mean, what will drive it are people. I mean, yeah, if you have a crowd here, I mean, our bartenders will stay open.
Nice.
But
okay.
I mean, yeah, most weekend nights is probably what, by midnight?
Yeah.
Yeah, midnight. And there's an occasional time here and there where we're here super late, but a lot of times it's 11, 12 o'clock. It's, people
Yeah.
get done with dinner, they have a couple drinks after dinner, and then they go home.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty fitting for this area where
Yeah.
people are like, I'm good. I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have things to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no real set time. Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's a crew of people and they're having fun, the bartenders will stay open.
There's only
Okay.
so much. I mean, there's no dartboard. There's no pool table. It's not a.
You can only get so
Yeah.
drunk.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
It's more about the
can sit and have
conversation,
fun
like
and
he was
everything,
saying
but-
earlier.
Yeah.
It really is about
It's
conversation.
about the conversation with that U-shaped bar. It's really unique just because you're 8 feet across from somebody, and it's somebody you might not know, but by the time you leave here, you're friends,
and,
That's
and you'll
wild.
sit
Yeah,
here for
that's-
hours
it's really
just talking
cool,
to
yeah.
somebody.
And
Okay.
we've like the amount of people that we've met just sitting at the bar, and somebody comes in and sits down, and you're looking at a stranger essentially when they get here, but by the time they're gone, a couple
You
of
have
drinks
your-
later,
you have
You're having a couple
Self-remembering.
drinks together.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden you're like,
you're
oh, we buy them
BFFs.
drinks, and they're buying you drinks, and then you're here for
Yeah.
hours.
That's awesome. And then, do you have any days off, or is it just 7 days a week? You guys are just here for everything.
we're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay.
But we don't really have days off because we do come in and do the paperwork and inventory and stuff like
And
that.
catering,
But-
'cause
and there's
catering's 7 days a
so,
week,
Yeah,
eventually,
there's
yeah.
a
Good
lot of
point.
a lot of the morning catering is for like doctors' offices and stuff like that, where the pharmaceutical rep comes and picks it up and takes it to a meal there.
Okay.
So there's that where we're here during the day.
But that's also nice. We do have kids. We are married. So, like, if Becky's here, I don't have to be here.
okay.
You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
I'm here, she doesn't have to be here. Not that we couldn't trust the staff or anything. It's just more of somebody needs to be here to, answer those questions when someone, like we got the holiday, the Thanksgiving feast that we're doing. Things like that, people call and ask questions, and we just, got to have somebody here for the right answers. But as far as like the kitchen staff, they can do it when I'm not here. I have a great staff.
What?
So
How large is the staff?
honestly, it's me and another guy. No, we have
Crushing it.
couple other prep cooks. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
But as far as
So you're the head chef, correct?
yes,
Okay, so you own the place
Yeah.
with them and your head chef, and then you have a sous chef, and then
Yep.
a couple people for
Yep.
prep.
We,
That's okay.
We did have, there's a girl that worked for us for a little bit, and she had just left again. No, but yeah, it's just me and another guy right now, and just because this summer's been so crazy that business has been all over the place, so
Right.
we didn't really need a full staff. But now the party season's coming up. That's when it gets pretty crazy.
Exactly. And then from the catering aspect, do you have a minimum? So if somebody wants to have you guys cater an event, what are the parameters essentially? Is there a minimum and a maximum, or
So we do from 10 people up to 500 people. It's not there's not really a maximum.
so essentially a wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple big businesses in Williamsville that we were doing for every day. Then they're the companies that have 500 people they're feeding for a lunch or something like that. But typically, like, there's wedding drop-offs, stuff like that.
Is it hot box?
It depends on what the package that they pick or what the amenities they want to pay for to go with it.
Sure.
Because like we do loan out our chafers and the sternos and everything that go with them. We do have actually staff that can go and work at their house, if you know what I mean. So you can go from as basic of you pick up the food to as grand scheme of like we cook it on site, we do everything there, and then we serve it, and then we clean everything up and we take it all out. And that it could include like rentals of like plates, silverware, stuff like that.
Like,
linens.
obviously, no free shout-outs, but like a Fuji grill experience where you can watch the chef cook in front of you.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what kind of foods do you guys offer in that sphere?
They're usually when it's something like that that's more intimate, they're not going to order exactly off the menu. We talk with them and get what they want. And we have a doctor in Orchard Park. Probably shouldn't mention his name. I don't know if he wants to be a part of this, but he's used
got a
us
guy.
for years. Awesome guy. He's great family, and I love going over there. He's got a great kitchen. We use his kitchen, obviously, and the last one we did, he just wanted hors d'oeuvres. He's like, just keep sending hors d'oeuvres around. So we did appetizer type hors d'oeuvres, and then we did like entree hors d'oeuvres, like one bite type things, and it was awesome. But we've worked with him for so long that the last time we were there, I saw his son walk by, and I'm like, Tommy, like, you're an adult. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But no, we work with anybody. We do, how many people you want. We've actually not too long ago somebody we cooked for their parents. There was nothing on the menu that they wanted, and they wanted to come pick it up and drop it off. And I'm like, well, you tell me what you want. I don't know. Whatever.
That's awesome.
So it's 2 people.
Yeah.
But it all depends on, whatever the person wants. Really, it's not a big deal.
Wow, that's awesome.
So you guys have a huge lot here too. Do you use that lot for like summer events or anything like that, or is that in the future?
That was one of our favorite events that we
Okay.
did. We actually did it last year. We did a pig roast over in the gravel lot over there, where like they had we used to have a pig roaster. We roasted the pig all day and had live music under the tent. Beer trucks came in, and we it turned into a nice little party where people came and got some pork and some pork nachos, some sandwiches. And then listen to music all day, hang out in the parking lot.
Pints?
Pork and pints.
Pork and pints.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fest. Pork and pints.
Yeah.
And then this year we were actually planning on doing something with like brisket, but we never got around to it this summer because we just had a baby and we don't have time for that stuff.
No time for partying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that was like one of our favorite events we did last year.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Did you guys incorporate live music as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Couple of bands. We had a tent outside. There was a stage.
Yeah, we went, I think we did it from
tables all
like
over.
noon to 9, so it was like a
Yeah.
long period of time where
Yeah.
What?
like
Oh,
we
yeah.
did a band and then they had like some downtime and then we had another band come in.
How does that work with the town? Like, you just, all of a sudden, you just light Blaisdell up with pig roast smoke, and people are like, I'm just going to meander over there?
Well,
So-
this is technically Orchard Park.
Yeah.
Well,
Even
right,
though it's
but
close.
like,
Yeah.
But
the
Blaisdell
wind's gonna
smells.
go that way.
So far, we've met all the neighbors. They come in, they support us, and it hasn't been any big issue. And it may be in the future, because we did put plans in to put a deck on the front, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That might shake up the town. But
Oh, that's cool.
as
Yeah.
far as that day, I mean, we were done by 9 o'clock, even though the bar was packed till the wee hours of the night, but I don't know. So far, the neighbors have been pretty supportive.
Yeah.
From what I can
We
see.
have really good neighbors here.
Haven't picked up any eggshells or anything thrown at the building, so I don't know.
So we're obviously in the middle floor of the building. What is upstairs and what's like downstairs? Because this is a huge building.
Yeah. So upstairs, there's 2 dining rooms, but one is we can fit about 30 and one about 40 people in.
The smaller one is more like 15, 20 people, and then the other one is like 30, 40 people in there.
Wow.
And then there's we have our laundry room and storage up there, and big office.
Couple bathrooms are up there.
Couple bathrooms.
bathrooms.
That's the nice part about having a party upstairs is like people can just use the bathrooms up there. They don't have to keep going up and down the stairs.
Or a family dinner.
Yeah, or a family dinner.
Well, that's it. I
That's
mean,
where family dinners used
my
to be,
family
where
dinners
it's
would
up in that
always
room.
be up in
Yeah.
the boardroom. I mean,
Because
I
there's
just
so
had
many
one
people.
there a week ago or
Yeah.
so. Every time the big Italian family gets together, everyone comes in from out of town. We go upstairs in that room because it's great. There's doors you can shut. You can play your own music up there. If you got little kids, they can run around. You don't have to worry about them bothering anyone. It's perfect. And we've been doing that for, I don't know, as long as I can remember, and we're still doing it now up there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then downstairs there is a banquet room that we get about 80 people in there. And then there's all the coolers and stuff for the kitchen, liquor room,
Yeah,
That's where we keep the beer and the
storage,
liquor.
and there's another whole kitchen downstairs that we do most of the catering out of and prep for. There's a kitchen on this floor, but it's not like big prep tables and stuff. It's more of a service kitchen. Well, I mean service kitchen meaning there's a full line and everything and dish machine, but downstairs is where all the prep happens for us anyway.
So how many freezers are in this place? Is there one downstairs as well with that second kitchen, or is there only one massive freezer that?
No, there's no like walk-in freezers or anything. Just
No.
a couple of reach-in freezers. There's really nothing that needs to be frozen. I mean, like as far as like French fries and stuff, we make those, and that saves a lot of space because if you get an order, say half of your menu is sandwiches with fries. I mean, you need to store 5-6 cases of fries per week per delivery. So we get away with most everything's fresh that we make. So the cooler's big and pretty packed because of all the
huge.
meat and the produce
Lot of
and
meat.
stuff. But
Yeah. And then what about dessert options? Because I have a massive sweet tooth. It's not a problem. I
Wait till you
promise.
see what's on the list right now.
Yeah.
The fall is the best time.
So,
So what do you guys have?
fall is actually the best time for desserts.
yeah.
I
I
we
think
love
so
making
too,
desserts in the
for
fall. Right now we have like a peach crisp that's on the menu. We have a chocolate peanut butter mousse pie that we always have. It's like this massive pie. It's like this tall. It's got a layer of peanut butter mousse and then chocolate mousse and then whipped topping. And it's like it's really, and it's not like super heavy either because it's all mousse, so it's really light and airy, but it's so delicious. We always have a cheesecake of some sort around. Right now we have a plain one, and we also have a pumpkin cheesecake because who doesn't love pumpkin pie?
Right.
And
wasn't it a triple layer?
triple layer chocolate cake?
chocolate.
Yeah, that's
I know all the
too.
sweets.
You always have to have something chocolate on there. So we have this nice triple layer chocolate cake that we do.
And there's cream cheese frosted carrot cake.
Oh yeah, and there's the carrot cake. Yeah.
That's
right.
Perfect. Any apple crisp? Ever?
No apple crisp
Well,
right
since
now.
we've been doing the peach crisp, we haven't. But
Yeah.
I mean, we usually, I don't know, we make it all pretty much. It all rotates.
Kind of just whatever we feel like putting on the dessert menu. Like, oh, I haven't made this one in a long time. That one's really good.
Nice,
Like I was
yeah.
thinking about pecan pie the other day, and I'm like, man, people don't get pecan pie anymore. We should try a couple of those and see what goes on with it.
That's
Yeah.
the best part about
Right.
owning the restaurant is you can just do whatever you feel like.
We just
Yeah,
change
I
it.
just want to do this day. All right, it's on the menu the next day.
Yeah, it's huge. With the dessert menu, he was actually saying like, oh, should we get more peaches or should we do something else? We can just print new menus. So whatever we want to do, we can change it by the day.
So are you guys on social media at all?
We are on Facebook, and we do have an Instagram too, but not very active on our Instagram as we should be. But
That's okay.
Is that where you post like a lot of the events and everything? Like, can people find what you have going on or like new menu items on there or
it's
something?
always
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Okay.
That's
Facebook's
our
our
primary
primary, yeah.
mode of communication. We do have a website and stuff like that, but I think a lot of people are more easily go to Facebook to look things up and whatnot, and you're more likely to see it there.
Cool.
Okay. And then how does someone find you other than the Mansard? Is it just the Mansard?
It is the Mansard.
And
That's
that
it.
just pulls everything up?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, if someone looks up Applewood Catering, that'll come to our website.
Yeah. Applewood Catering will still come
that
back
was-
to the Mansard website.
That's what our catering business is still under Applewood. Just we didn't want to confuse anybody, and we're trying to bring it all together, but we didn't want to just cut off Applewood and then.
Right.
It's still the same phone number. If someone calls Applewood phone number, it goes to Becky's cell phone.
Yeah, that was right to my cell phone.
Wow.
So what's next? Is there something next that you guys want to do? Or we were talking about
This
the
is
porch
your
out
time.
front.
Look at you.
Yeah,
Look
I
how
know.
giddy he is. He's so
getting
excited
juiced
now.
over here. So what's next?
Well, Mike alluded to it earlier. I mean, well, the one thing we're missing, if you saw it, is a nice big deck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would, especially off the whole bar area, because it's not a huge bar. It's not the kind where you're gonna have 5 deep behind you, which I actually like. You know, it's not busy, but it would be nice if you can expand a little bit where you can have a couple bar tops behind. But having a deck, you know, we're not on the waterfront. So when summertime comes, you know, when a lot of people want to be outside, I mean, a deck is, you need one. And what's really nice, as I mentioned, across the street from us, it's almost like a park-like setting.
Yeah, it's
There's not a
beautiful
lot
out there in the
of
summer.
neighbors near us. It's very conducive to have a little Friday night one-man band out there, people coming for happy hour drinks outside. You know, there's so much stuff you could do at a deck, and the kind of plans we have, I think, you know, that's the type of thing we need. So, you know, we are around another 40 years.
Yeah,
You know, a deck,
right.
I think, but there's a lot of cool things you could do with it, not just from expanding from the bar. I mean, it is for overflow, you know, from the dining then as well, too. But that, and it'll be more parties, because we do have, as you mentioned, there's like 2 acres of land. I mean, there's a lot of land here, and
Yeah.
having those big
another
outdoor
thing we-
music, you know, kind of little parties. I mean, those are things we just started getting into it a little bit, and I'm sure those will be more in our future as well.
After the deck, we were looking at the front grass out there because our liquor license is now expanded for the front grass. If we put like a fence up around it, we start putting like
There
a
you
fire
go.
pit or something
Fire
out
pit,
there. We want to
other
put like a
things,
nice
yeah.
fire pit out there. Some Adirondack chairs so people can come get a drink and just kind of relax outside. And it's
'Cause
beautiful
it is,
out there in the
it
summer.
is park
you know?
like setting
Yeah.
across from
Oh, yeah.
there.
And
Yeah, you
And
don't
it's-
have heavy
and
traffic
even
being
though
on this
we're on,
road.
even though we're on Ebbett Road, you can't hear the cars on Ebbett Road when you're up here sitting outside. You know?
Yeah, so I guess that kind of comes
Yeah.
back full circle to the initial point of you guys getting this space. Was that one thing that you wanted, was a huge lot to entertain on? Because this is perfect for that.
Right.
Yeah, well, part of it was, like I said, being in real estate, we wanted to make sure we were buying the land and building, too. We did not want to lease from someone, and that was kind of critical. So we would have the flexibility to do other stuff. But yes, nope, one of the kids probably. But yes, by having this much space, I mean, it's a limitless amount of things we could do. 3 stories, the types of events you can do inside, but really outside too. I mean, Becky is nailing the head. I mean, that front grass area would be great to have a fire pit, Adirondack chairs. You have the deck there. So yes, there's more to come, but yes, those things were definitely top of mind when we were going down this path.
So you hit on happy hour too. Do you have happy hour deals or anything to drive traffic in for that critical hour there?
Nothing really for the bar, but more we do an early dining special.
Oh, okay.
It's most of everything that's on our menu. Not everything. I
everything.
meant more of like the entrees. They're a smaller price, but they're a little smaller portion. So
So like that, back to that turkey Jerome, instead of the 2 croquettes and the big full meal, you can come in and get 1 before 5:30 every day,
Oh.
up until 5:30, as long as you're seated before that. We'll honor it, and then that way, you know, so you can have like a smaller snack, or not smaller snack, but it's a smaller entree, so you're not getting.
Yeah,
just
we're not a
stuffed as
big
full.
specials place,
Yeah.
except for we probably should talk about it as our Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And that is our big
Yeah.
special day.
yeah, Weck
Yeah.
Wednesday has been great. It's Becky's idea. I'll take credit for it. But well, for years before we even met Craig, we always wanted to do if we had a bar. It was more of a bar
Yeah.
thing. Weck Wednesday, but we do fresh carved roast beef. We sous vide it for 18 hours and then roast it.
It's gotta
and
be
then
delicious.
It's so good.
Melts.
Kind of want one now.
But,
that you're talking about it.
But it's a full size sandwich. It's not like a mini beef on Weck, but it's only $6. And I mean, we have some sides that come with it that you can order, you know, for like what's it, around $4.
The sides are like $4. Yeah.
But
They're
you know,
average.
like we do mac and cheese, truffle fries, stuff like that people add to it. So
Perfect. I can't wait to be 400 pounds. But
Yeah.
next year, outstanding.
We also there's a little show that goes with it because it's a hand carved roast beef, and so we had for a while we had the guy out in the dining room carving it for people
Oh,
to come
cool.
up and see it, and then
Nice.
you know I mean
Yeah,
like,
you
it
just
adds
come
a
up with
little-
your roll
adds
and-
a little something to it, and
Yeah.
they people can see it being done. You know,
yeah.
But for $6, I mean, you can't.
No.
It's incredible.
No, yeah.
It's
The
dinner.
people are just going to keep reordering that.
Oh, it's funny. People come in and give me just 2 sandwiches.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
well, there's a lot of that. I'll have all these plates out, and the server will be like, "Oh no, that guy's getting 2 of them." I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right, put them back in one plate."
Yeah, those have actually been a hit for takeout too. So we started doing a lot of takeout recently where, on Wednesdays we start answering the phone at 2:00 and scheduling like the pickup orders for dinner and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
And then about like 6:30, 7:00 comes around and we're like, oh, sorry, we can't take any more takeouts because the dining room's full, the kitchen.
Almost out of beef.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
we go through a lot of it.
So for upcoming holidays, what can people look forward to that you guys are doing for the holiday season? Because it's literally around the corner. And for some odd reason, 2 weeks just become like 3 days.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Time
that's
is
ridiculous.
flying.
Well, we have, not to cut you off, but we do have side rooms that last year was our first winter, and didn't realize how much business that we would do, like with office Christmas parties and family parties and stuff. So if anybody is trying to book it quick. Because last year people would call and we're like, we don't have the space anymore. And a lot of people were disappointed, but we're doing a Thanksgiving feast. If you want to,
We're going to
talk
do the
about that
Thanksgiving feast. We're going to do it as a takeout this year instead of being inside. And so it's $25 a person. You call and tell us how many people you're feeding. If you're feeding 8 people, we do it for 8. If you're feeding 2 people, we'll do it for 2. But with that, it's $25 a person, and you have a choice between turkey, pot roast, and ham. I mean, most people want the turkey, but if you want a second entree, you can add that on.
So because I'm terrible with math, do you mean $25 a person per order, or if you
Yeah,
have
so
2 people, it's $50?
It's $50 for 2
Yeah.
people. Yeah. So
Math.
it's yeah.
Okay.
So if it's
All
8,
good.
so if it's 8 people, it's $200.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah. Yeah, but it includes everything. So there's like a zucchini casserole, there's mashed potatoes, there's stuffing, there's gravy, there's corn, cranberry sauce. I'm forgetting something. Rolls, butter,
Rolls, butter.
stuffing. I
probably a
think you said.
salad. Yeah.
And the meat.
The whole meal.
Gravy.
Yeah, the whole meal.
Yeah.
So instead of for 4 people, you're actually better off than going to the store and buying all the ingredients
Right.
and doing the work yourself.
Did you say that it's takeout too, or
It is only takeout.
only
We're
takeout,
only
okay.
doing this takeout that day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did it back for Mother's Day. We did it for a pickup, and it was really nice. It was really, really good. Where people were just coming and grabbing their food and then going to where they had to go to celebrate their holidays.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
Easter and Mother's Day was really successful for us for takeout. So we were just trying to think that if we did takeout and the dining room, then one of them's going to suffer.
Yeah.
And this way, if it's only takeout, we can do it to a certain time. And
We can also get
Craig
home to
has
our
a family.
family,
We
yeah.
have a family, so at least and our
And our
staff
staff
was.
can, yeah.
Well, they have families too, I guess.
I guess they could have both.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But at least that everybody can go and
celebrate.
be home for mainly the 8:00 game.
Yeah.
Sure.
For football. Yes. Yes.
So-
That's what we're going home for.
100%. Absolutely. So it's basically everything but silverware, or do you guys include plastic silverware too?
There was a couple of people that asked for it for the Mother's Day, and we can put it in there because we have it here for the catering, but we don't provide any of the dishware or anything.
Okay.
It's all in the boxes, and you come and you get it. And when you get home, you're gonna open up the boxes, and it's gonna be served family style. So the corn will be in like a box. It'll be like a portion that's enough
Yeah.
to feed 4 people.
Right.
So it won't be like everything's on the same plate. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So speaking of Bills games, you guys are pretty close to the stadium. Do you work on Sundays? Is this open on Sunday, or do you rent out some of the lots to park?
No, we haven't gotten to that point. And a lot of people have asked about tailgating and then going down. And obviously, things are different this year. But the bar, literally, you have to call and reserve a bar stool.
Really?
Yeah,
For the Sundays, yeah, for the
Sundays
games.
have been great. A lot of it has to do with Craig and his rugby friends, but
Yeah. But
Way
it's
to go,
also
Craig.
Craig's bringing too many friends in. Yeah.
They're spending money.
Yeah. No, but it's really cool bar to watch the games at too, because you have the TVs on either side and you're looking at a TV, but you're also looking at a person. So you're not.
No, you feel like you're right
talk
in
about
it.
the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you're talking to a person, you don't have to turn to the side to say something, or like lean down the bar to say something. You can it's a nice little intimate setting where the bar is the U-shaped again.
Yeah, I don't want it to go unnoticed. Like you guys were saying earlier, this U-shaped bar, more places have to do this because
love it.
it's obnoxious having a long bar and you staring at the back
And you're like
shelf
that- yeah,
and
you're
not
looking-
being able to see anybody.
You
Right.
can't talk to anyone.
I agree
It's
with
so
that, yeah.
it's so discouraging. So
Right.
the fact that you guys have that and you kept that's awesome.
yeah.
Right.
No, I agree. I love it. And getting back to like Bills games, we do have that TV upstairs, the 75-inch TV in the boardroom. It's surround sound, and we did have interest of that being booked and stuff. And I'm pretty sure for the Super Bowl, there's going to be some type of Super Bowl package, and
Nice.
but I don't know. We've
don't
talked
really,
about
we don't
booking
really
it, but-
tailgate. Yeah, we really don't tailgate in our parking lot because I mean we are very close to the stadium, but there's still a little bit of a distance.
And you
still
guys
have
are
to drive
still
out,
open,
yeah.
so
And we're
We're
open,
open.
right? Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
want to go to the games.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we also go to the somehow.
Yeah. We want to go
They
tailgate.
usually stick me here at the bar, and then the two of them go to the game. So
Perfect.
I don't know who it's perfect for, but
She loves when we come back.
yeah, it's great. It's great. Super good.
But yeah, Sundays they've been a lot of fun. 'Cause you're right, that atmosphere. I mean, every score change, you're like you're in front of everybody's face, and you can kind of feel an energy in there instead of that long kind of bar feel.
This weekend when New England fumbled the ball and everybody was swearing because we thought that we were going to lose, and then they fumbled the ball and it was like a celebration in there. But you're not.
Oh, yeah.
I was screaming at the top of my lungs when that happened. Just,
I think there was one guy in there who was just like,
It was
Great.
interesting too because most people didn't even recognize that it was a fumble, like until they saw the ball and then they couldn't fathom the words, so it was just a uniform like super loud,
yeah.
and everybody was
Right.
screaming. It was
Yeah.
we needed that play
Definitely a roller coaster.
yeah.
Watching the Bills play.
Yeah,
every week.
it's always a heart attack week. Every week.
Yeah.
well, so thank you guys very much for being on. Is there anything else that you'd like to highlight about the Mansard? Any hours? You already talked about hours.
Yep.
But any other additional information that you want to throw out there
We're
before?
here Wednesday through Sunday. The bar opens at 4:00 every day. On Sundays the bar actually opens at 12:30, just so we can get in our seats before the game starts. And you can give us a call for catering. You can call us for private parties. We have our WEC Wednesday going on.
Yeah, I just want to throw in there. It's a family place. Craig and his wife Rachel have kids that are here all the time, and our kids are here. And we're just, wanted to throw that out there
Yeah.
that it's not just the old, come in and dine adult place. Where our kids are running through here constantly. So
Yeah, I mean,
bring your kids.
just to point that out again, you took what was here already and it had this traditional old-timey feel, but then modernized it, and now it's just available for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's such a cool thing that you guys did. So great job, and thank you very much for being on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for
Definitely.
having us.
Everybody
Thanks for
go
having us,
follow
yeah.
Mansard on Facebook and check them out and come here and have some of your amazing food.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.